This is the Subaru Forester. In this video, we'll take it on a light off-road trail, we'll test its safety features, and we'll do a very thorough review. So, is it worth the money? Let's find out. Here in the Philippines, we get 4 variants of the Subaru Forester. This one right here is the GT-lite. It's basically a 2.0 IL with a GT body kit. So in terms of features, it's almost the same as the GT. Like the GT, you also get eyesight. You also get these adaptive LED headlights. These are steering sensitive. So when you turn the wheel, the light also turns towards the direction that you're going. So basically, the only difference between the GT and the GT-lite is that this one does not come with a panoramic sunroof. It comes with halogen fog lamps instead of LEDs. And it gets smaller 17-inch wheels. This aggressive bumper over here and this splitter is exclusive to the GT and GT-lite variants. So here on the side, you get some subtle character lines. Nothing too aggressive, just enough to break the roundish shape of the Subaru Forester. Here you get functional roof rails. The Subaru Forester has a smart locking system. So as long as you have the key fob with you, you can just put your finger here to lock the vehicle. And to unlock it, just put your hand here. The vehicle comes with automatic folding side mirrors. Subaru is a brand that's known for safety, and these doors, they feel very heavy, they feel very solid, and they actually are. So these metal poles over here are not just there for show. These are for additional strength, so the door doesn't collapse in if you get hit from the side. And listen to the thunk. That is a solid door. Let me show you the back. Okay, here at the back you get Subaru's signature C-shaped tail lamps. You get this aggressive spoiler. You got this rear lip, and you got a single exhaust tip. So the Subaru Forester comes with a power tailgate. So in here you get 509 liters of cargo space. So you got this removable tonneau cover. You can fold these second row seats down with a flick of a button. So with all the seats down, you have this much cargo space. So in here you got a 12-volt outlet. So underneath you have storage for tools. Underneath this you have a spare tire with a bunch of tools. Subaru has a unified design language for their interiors, so this interior looks very similar to other Subaru models. It actually looks almost identical to the Subaru XV. I've heard some people describe this as cluttered because you get a lot of buttons here. On the steering wheel alone, you get like 17 buttons. Now, it's debatable whether this is a good look, but nowadays, when almost everything is dependent on the infotainment screen, it's actually refreshing to see dedicated buttons. One, because they're tactile, so they're easier to operate without having to look at them. And they're also faster because you don't have to go through menus to access the car's functions. Overall, it looks premium enough. You get soft touch materials on the dashboard, you get leather. The seats are covered in leather. You get aluminum looking accents. You also get these faux carbon fiber accents. Both front seats are power adjustable. They're also both leather wrapped. The door siding is leather wrapped, and as you can see, it has different types of leather on it. This is a bit rougher and this is a bit smoother. You got this leather wrapped steering wheel. It's nice, but it's a bit too smooth for my taste. This is one of the more spacious 5-seater crossovers in this segment. In terms of headroom, the seat height is adjustable, so it can be as much as 6 or 7 inches, or 3 inches. So whether you're 6 feet tall or 5'2", you'll always have adequate headroom in the Subaru Forester. I'd have to say though that the center console looks a lot better than the one on the Subaru XV. You get a lot less scratchy plastic. You get this aluminum accent around the shifter, and also these piano black accents. Over here are your X-Drive controls, and you get an electronic parking brake. You get dual zone climate control, and the controls for the temperature and fan speed are all knobs. The same goes for the volume control and also the tuning control. So you get this 8-inch screen. It has Apple CarPlay, it has Android Auto, and it also has a 360 camera. Now, this is something that you don't get on the base model, but you get on the top of the line GT variant. Like on the Coolray and the Ford Territory, you can rotate the view. The resolution isn't the best in the market, but I think it's usable enough. You can also cycle through different cameras. You also get that small screen over there which shows your climate control settings, your eyesight settings, your all-wheel drive settings. So in terms of storage, you have some storage over here, enough space for a couple of water bottles. So as you can see, these cup holders are big enough to hold these milk teas. So you get one USB port at the front and 2 at the back. You also got one 12-volt outlet here. So this is almost the same as the top of the line model, except that you don't get a sunroof here. Okay, so I'm sitting at the second row now. I have pretty good legroom. I'm 5'8" and I have about, I'm guessing that's 6 or 7 inches of legroom. Headroom is also pretty decent. I have about, I'm guessing that's around 4 inches. I'm 5'8" and the front seat is adjusted to my height. So in here you get 2 aircon vents. Over here you got 2 USB ports. You also get a foldable center armrest here with 2 cup holders. And unlike most vehicles, you don't just get flat black plastic here. You get a chrome accent and gloss black plastic. So the materials here are a bit harder. This is hard plastic. This is leather though. Leather. So this window only goes down this much. It doesn't go all the way down. So the Subaru Forester is a lot bigger and a lot taller compared to the Subaru XV, and you can definitely feel that when you're driving on twisty roads like this. There's a lot more body roll. It doesn't feel as planted. The steering feels responsive though. It has just the right weight, doesn't feel too light, and it's quite communicative. But as you can see, there's a lot of body roll. Look at that. So the Forester has the same engine as the Subaru XV, but this is a lot heavier. It has 156 horsepower. It doesn't feel as nimble. It doesn't accelerate as quickly as the Subaru XV. Okay, the Subaru Forester isn't really designed to be sporty. It's a family car. It's a comfortable premium crossover. And if we were to judge it by that measure, it's a pretty good crossover. It's comfortable. It's very spacious. Noise insulation is a bit better than the Subaru XV, although I would say it's still not the best in the segment, but it's good enough. Also, like I said before, it has plenty of active safety features, so that's definitely a plus if you have your family in the car. The Subaru Forester GT-lite has EyeSight, which is Subaru's full suite of active safety features and driver assist features. It has adaptive cruise control, which automatically applies the brakes and the gas depending on the speed of traffic ahead of you. And as you can see, my feet are not doing anything. The vehicle automatically slows down and speeds up. So how it works is, you turn it on, and then you set the maximum speed and the distance to the car in front of you. Now that sounds like a lot of work, but it actually is as easy as pressing 2 buttons most of the time. Unlike the Ford Territory, which has radar-based adaptive cruise, the adaptive cruise of the Forester is camera-based. You have 2 cameras up here which scan the road ahead of you. It also has lane departure warning, which warns you if you're veering off your lane. It has rear cross traffic alert, and it has blind spot warning. The system works, but you always have to have your foot near the brake. Best of all, it has automatic emergency braking, which I feel should be a standard feature in more cars nowadays. Okay, so my foot is off the pedal. My foot is off the pedal. It greatly improves safety, not just by protecting you during accidents, but also by preventing accidents from happening in the first place. Okay, go. So we did a couple of tests on it. Like I said, it uses cameras to detect obstacles, and I find that when the obstacle is almost the same color as the ground, like this brown box over here, the cameras don't detect it 100% of the time. And that's why my jacket is on the box, to add more contrast to it. When the obstacle though is not a plain brown box, I find that it's a very reliable system. It detects motorcycles, pedestrians, and of course cars. The Subaru Forester has 2 main selling points. One is safety, and the other is Subaru's very competent all-wheel drive system. We got to test its safety features, so now we have to test its off-road capability. We took the Forester to Rizal again, the same place where we took the Subaru XV. Like last time, tricycle drivers tried to warn us again about the lack of a paved road and mud. Mukhang naliliitan sila sa Subaru Forester, but I know what this vehicle is capable of, so we proceeded. The way going there was covered in mud and clay, but perhaps it was not as muddy as last time. The path going up the hill, it used to be just pure mud. Now it's filled with small pebbles, so it's not as slippery. But there were still muddy patches where we could play around. Subaru's all-wheel drive system relies on brakes to shift the torque. If one wheel is spinning, the vehicle directs the torque to the opposite wheel, so the power goes to the wheel with the most traction. So wheel spin is an integral part of the system. We don't get snow in the Philippines, and even when it rains, it doesn't really get that slippery, so getting a 4x4 or an all-wheel drive vehicle is usually not a priority for a lot of buyers, unless they're specifically into off-roading, or maybe they own a farm. One thing that I realized when I started doing these off-road reviews is that we have so many beautiful places here in the Philippines that are usually not accessible to normal vehicles. And a lot of them are less than 2 hours away from Metro Manila. I wasn't really an off-road guy until I tried it. If you're not an off-road person either, maybe this beautiful shot of us being at eye level with the clouds is enough to change your mind. The Subaru Forester GT-lite sells for 1.9 million pesos. This IS variant sells for a bit more. Now that may seem like a steep price to pay for a compact crossover, but what you pay for here is Subaru's very capable all-wheel drive system, and also Subaru's attention to safety. At this price, you can also buy a mid-range PPV, but if you want a 4x4 with active safety features, you'd have to fork out over 2.2 million pesos for a top-of-the-line model. If you don't need more than 5 seats, if you want to go on an adventure, if you want to go to places like this, and you value safety, I say give this one a try. Check it out at your nearest Subaru dealership and find out if it's the right car for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on my next video.